When you discovered the law of attraction, you started to believe anything was possible. Life got better, much better. Now you want more, but it's not working. That's where the Manifest It Now show comes in. If you've been waiting for someone who can teach you the practical application to manifest quicker and easier while having more, turn the volume up, because the dynamic duo, Cassie Parks and Ginny Gane, are ready to teach you how to live the law of attraction like they do. It's time to laugh and learn.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Manifest It Now. I'm here with Cassie Parks.
And I'm here with Ginny Gane.
And today we have a topic for you. We're going to talk about how to know whose law of attraction advice to follow. Boom, boom, boom. Do you follow Cassie or do you follow mine? Because we're clearly the only two options. Sarcasm, guys, sarcasm.
I love it.
Yeah. What are you excited about, Cass?
I am excited about all the people manifesting money and manifest 10K, pay after you manifest. Yeah. There's something, for me, like, I just love getting paid because I know people are this means money came into their life. This means money came into their life.
What a beautiful system.
It's so fun.
Like,
yes.
I mean, hopefully most things that we're engaging in are win-wins for people. Like, you give value, you get value, that experience. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's such a clear, specific way that happens.
Yeah, it's so awesome. And I could probably talk the whole half hour about that, but we have a really cool topic today. So what are you excited about?
I feel really excited right now. This is going to be silly, but of our cat Percy and all the, if anyone has never had a kitten, I highly suggest it. It's like a child, and it's like crazy and hilarious and also sometimes annoying. He, like, everything I do, he's there. Like, I'm washing my hands, he's there. I'm doing laundry, he's there. I'm cooking, he's there. He plays with the water. It's just so much fun, and I've never had a more powerful experience of, like, sometimes Abraham talks about, like, go pet your cat, and I'm like, I know, my cat's amazing, but, like, just the energy is so light and so fun, and it's been a lot of fun just getting to be around that and watch it, and I'm always giggling at him and all that.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Another part of it too is that, so in the process of getting pregnant, I really wanted to be pregnant by Christmas, and I talked about this with Cass, and she's like, I know, I can feel that too. And so the story I'm telling now is, telling from the moment it happened, is that the universe delivered us a baby, and it literally did. It came in the form of Percy. But I know this is silly for probably the people who have kids out there, but it's like, I can sense the same-ness of the energy, like the playfulness, the constant attention, the distracting here, distracting there, and just, I know it's not the same, but it's really fun observing it and making the connection between what I know is coming. So that's a really exciting part about having Percy too.
That's so amazing, and such a good example of being in the story that you want more of and you want to be true, right? Yes. So good.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Amazing.
So where should we start?
Where should we start? All right, whose advice should you listen to? Do you have a top 3? Or should we
of who I listen to, or like?
Oh, like how you would decide, like your top, like how would you, is there 3? I totally made this up on the spot, guys. We didn't, we discussed a lot of things before, but it wasn't the top 3 things. So we could just start. I would say this. So this really falls under the topic, or falls right into the topic of, there's so much information out there, right? Yeah. I often hear from my clients, but I heard it this way, or but you hear this, or but I read that. Mm-hmm. And so Cass and I are very aware that there's lots of
you hear lots of different things. And obviously if you're listening to this podcast, you are resonating with the way we are talking about it. But let's talk about just almost in general, like how do you navigate so much different information out there?
Oh, yes. So I think that this should be said first is the way you navigate it is you automatically assume you're going to tune some of it out. Like you go into it, I think very often people go in like, okay, LOA, I'm going to go buy 10 books by 10 different authors and find 10 different podcasts and start listening to all these people. And from the beginning, and even if you've been doing that for a while, but you want to start eliminating information. This is the same as, with anything else. You want to do more of what feels good and you want to do less of what doesn't. And if all you're doing is consuming without any feeling, like you're really just in this head of trying to get all the information, but you're not connecting to any of it. This feels good. This feels better. This doesn't feel amazing. Like you're already setting yourself up to have a little tougher road trying to navigate it. Like be prepared to put some of it away.
It really is one of the first great places to start trusting yourself. And because you get to, I still do this every once in a while. I'll pick up a book and say it's just like a fiction book and I'll be reading it and I'm like, I don't like this story. And I'm like, but I have to finish it. I have to finish the movie. I have to get to the end. But like, I've gotten really good at, just being like, okay. And Lisa will laugh at me because she's like, I don't get how you can just stop a movie and go for a walk in the middle of it. And I'm like, oh, that's because I'm not feeling it. I'm not connected to it in any way. It's doing nothing for me. And so learn as you start to practice this and pay attention, this is your first opportunity to say and start trusting yourself. And it's through the action, right? It's through the action of saying this book or this concept or this chapter, I'm not feeling it. I'm not connected to it. And so I'm not going to just go through the motions. And every single time you make a decision like that for yourself, you're building that trust muscle Cass and I talk about all the time. You're building that trusting yourself.
Yes. And I want to highlight this because I think we like to show, changes and growth. I love that you used the example of the movie because we were looking for a movie to watch on Saturday night with my sister, and we scrolled past this movie I don't remember the name of, but it was awful. You and I watched it. And the next day we were like, why did we watch that whole thing?
Yeah.
So I love hearing that you're like, nope, now I just get up in the middle because I was like, don't watch that movie. But it was, it's so true, right? Like we were both, why?
If you think about, I would say it's like, has anyone ever walked out of a movie theater? Because there's more example because you're like, oh, I've paid for this, I should watch it, versus I definitely have walked out of a movie theater, so I know that it serves you well.
That's awesome. And I love that we're talking about this sort of fun, that might be like a lot of people might think that's super scary, but this very fun way to play with this, right? So if you're not sure or you can't trust, like I can take I could just pick one book off of my bookshelf instead of the 20, you could start playing with this. Like, am I really into this show? Is this movie doing it for me, right? Because this ability to not have to take everything in is crucial to figuring out who to listen to, and who's gonna, because it's not about who you're listening to, it's like who's gonna serve your path best.
Yeah. Is there more you want to say on this? Because I kind of want to take it in a slightly different direction.
I do want to share this because this is one of my favorite reviews I got, and I know we're going to talk about, I think everyone probably has a process that has been successful, but one of the reviews I got, which I loved, for Manifest 10K, was somebody comparing me to Denise Butterfield Thomas, and the review was like,
that's a great comparison.
I know. It was like, this feels so much better because what I gained from the I've never really followed her stuff, but from the review is like, she tells you to do everything. Whereas I'm like, no, stop and just do these couple things. And this person in the review is like, this feels so much better.
Okay, that's perfect. This is exactly what we're talking about. So we're not saying that one process is better or worse, but we are saying that one process is going to be better or worse for you, dependent on where you are and what's going on. And so the first step is knowing connecting to how it feels for you. And this is what I said to Kes when we were talking about this topic. I'm like, this seems pretty easy. You just whatever resonates with you. And she was like, yeah, but Ginny, that's not really that easy for people.
Yeah.
So this is that. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought we will go into what does that mean? Like, because I think a lot of people don't know, what does it mean? Who resonates with me, right? Because very often when you start, and it comes, Ginny and both had this conversation. We've had conversations with our clients where our clients are like, oh, I knew it was you. And same with Jenny, like they know it's you and not me is supposed to be their coach. But that is often, go ahead.
I just want to interject and say to any of our clients or podcast listeners who are future clients, Cassie and I are so like abundant with each other. There is zero like I have more or you have this or you stole this person or because sometimes I hear from my clients like, I know I listened to Cassie, kind of wanting to say, is it okay? And I'm like, I just want you guys to know, Cass and I both love what we do. There's no competition between us.
That is true. And that is what makes us able to do this show is from the beginning.
Yes.
It's what we want. And we both had this strong belief that this builds both of our businesses.
Yeah. Continue.
Oh, so we were talking about resonating. I'm like, where were we? Resonating. And so I think a lot of people, especially in the beginning stages, which your beginning stage can go on for like a week or like 10 years. They don't know how to find what resonates with them. They don't understand, like this person feels better. There's a pull here. There's a connection. Because very often when you're wanting the information, like you want to make it work now. And then you go buy all these books or you go start listening to all these different people or watching YouTube or whatever, however you're gaining your information. And you're just like inundating, trying to find the thing that works. But the thing that
you're inundating your brain.
Yes. Which is confusing it. And the thing that is going to work is the path, the person that feels good to you. And I feel like that's such a foreign concept because even in school, we're not taught like pick the textbook, pick who you like, who describes biology the way that you want it, We're like, this is the book, you got to read it. I know, right?
This is the text. This is the chemistry teacher. This is your only option. You must do it their way.
Yes. And so if you draw that straw with the most boring person in the world, like it's not as fun as if you get like the person who's into it and who's like teacher the science guy and really like loves and is passionate and gets it into you.
And this is great because it's a great example actually because there's different learning styles and people can really wrap their brains around this part. It's like, okay, so I'm visual and this teacher teaches very visually. I'm auditory. This teacher teaches very auditory. So it's easy for me to learn from them. It's this exact same thing when you're listening to LOA information, like which style of, when I say style, I'm meaning resonance, like which feels best to you, what do you have going on active in you that this person is speaking to. And so when you pay attention to that, and it is something, it won't take long to start to observe this and learn this within yourself it's just asking the question, how does this feel to me? How does this person's information feel to me? How are they communicating it?
Yeah. How are they communicating it? How does it feel? Like, does this feel like opening or does this feel like I don't get it? right? Or does this feel like I don't get it, but I want it, but there's something here I want to get? You know, and I think some of our listeners might be thinking, but like, I don't know who to pick. I mean, obviously you're probably into Jenny and I, but you still might have a bookshelf. You still might be wondering, like, what do I follow? What book do I read? It's the new year. What LOA book should I read? Right. And what I want to say is that you do know. If you ask yourself, you do know. Very often you're seeking all these other answers. And Jenny and I are huge fans of coaches. I'm a huge fan of coach over seeking out information. Like, I think we seek out information for the base. But then if you can get somebody who can help you apply that information, that is where the magic really happens. And as you're searching through that information, I just want to make it clear, you do know. Even if you don't know how to do this yet, or even if you feel like you haven't been successful, you do know if somebody will or won't feel good. You just have to be willing to ask the question of yourself. Like, do I need this book? Does this person resonate with me? And if not, like, be willing to put it in the donate pile.
I like that. I wonder if we can give our listeners a little more, because that probably is something coming up a lot right now in the new year. You know, I want to read something. I want more information. We can talk about this in a couple different ways.
Yeah, we can.
But I want more information. So where do I go? Where do I start? Right? What would you say to that, Cass?
I want more
if
information.
They weren't your client. If they weren't your client.
I would say, what do you want? Like, what, like, because you don't actually want more information. You want what you think more information is going to get me. So if the answer is something like to make the law of attraction
Let's slow that down
work.
for a sec. Okay. So we don't necessarily, we think we want to read more books but it's actually so that we can get the result. Oh, crap. I messed it up. It's so that we can get the result of what we think reading will get us.
Yes.
So that we can experience what we think the reading is going to get us. So even just clarifying what that is. Like, yes, reading books might be a great part of your path and your process, but do this with intention and identify this for yourself first. Why? Why am I reading this book?
Because
why do I want this information?
Exactly. Because when you have, like, why do I want this information? You're giving your internal, your system, your intuition, your brain, like, actually what it's supposed to be filtering on. Because when you're saying, like, information, oh, great, yep, we need to buy all 20 books. I've totally done this. Gone to Barnes & Noble. Like, I haven't done it in years, but I remember one specific time coming home with, like, 10 different self-development books, all these things. And so when you're seeking information, your brain's like, great, we need 10 books on that. But when you say, what do I really want? Oh, this year I just want to know how to make the law of attraction work. So then you can hold each book and go, like, is this the one? And you'll feel it because you've given that, this is my intention. This is what I actually want. Or I want to manifest money or a relationship. Great. Will this book have that insight that I want or need to make that happen? When you're really clear about what you want, your brain can help you filter and your intuition can help you filter that information much better.
Yes. Setting yourself up to hear the intuition by asking those questions and getting yourself clear first. Yes. And I feel like probably a lot of our listeners are used to this and would feel comfortable picking up a book and asking themselves how it feels. But if you're not, it is an amazing place to practice tuning in and to see what that does feel like. What is the response in my body when I'm holding this book or listening to this podcast or something like that? To just start there, you don't have to get it perfect. You don't even have to master it. Just start, just experience, just practice it, because that is one of the most powerful tools you'll be able to use, is being able to hear that, being able to know what resonating or what resonance is for you. And stay in, just my other little on this, stay out of your head, stay in the experience of it, because it can be pretty quick to jump into, I feel nothing, I don't know. And so if the I don't knows are coming, just say, just more space, like let it be. And I will know. What if leaving space to know versus cutting it off right away.
And I would even give that a little more tangible step. If I were coaching someone, I would say, like, then it's, if you don't know, then it's a no, put it down and keep going.
Yes.
Keep going until something is a little bit, like, even because sitting there thinking about it is taking you out of that connected space that can help you with it. But saying, I don't know, as a no and putting it down, really is opening up that space to feel a little bit different about something else. Or when you come back through, like, maybe you put everything down because it's an I don't know, but you come back through and you'll see the book you should pick up, or something will happen when you stay out of the I don't know space. So whether it works,
I mean, that's
go ahead.
That's just like such an amazing piece for like anything. If you're in I don't know, it's a no, guys. It's a no. Trust it. And I just imagine when you said, if you keep saying no, if you're not feeling anything different, you know, you walk out of the bookstore empty-handed and then you see a book lying on the pavement and you're like, oh, this is my book.
Right? You know? Or a friend brings you a book that, like, you know, that's like a late Christmas present or holiday gift. And, you know, like, you open this space, not only for the possibilities to stay open, but for you to see them more clearly. You know, because just to put this in a tangible example, if you walk out of the bookstore with 10 books and then your friend drops off a late holiday gift, like, that goes in the pile. But if you said no to 10 books and they show up with a book, you're like, oh, that's it. Like, likely, might not be. It's okay if that's not. But I can see how much more that you would know. Like, oh, okay.
This is just such a amazing example on a bigger scale of you know, choosing books at a bookstore and then taking it to the more general, like choosing what's a part of your life, you know, and am I going to say yes to this? Am I going to stack my life with these books that are just full of things I think I need? And we tend to do that a lot in life because we're not paying attention, because we're not asking those questions. Does this resonate with me? Does this person resonate with me? Does this path, does this walk to work resonate with me? Does this website resonate with me? Does this podcast resonate with me? Am I going to be filling my days with things that are okay? Or are they filling my head? Or are they filling my soul? Are they filling like my heart? And I just love that example. You get to choose those things, and practicing in the bookstore is just an amazing place to start, or on Apple iTunes, you know?
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. And be quick. Like, make it a game. Like, how quick, if I don't like it, how quick will I say no? Because the truth is,
I'm definitely going to like shut off a podcast soon, you know?
Yeah. If you, you know, if you're looking for a path, there is probably one, maybe two things that are the thing that are going to lead you there. And so it's important to understand and connect and be willing to say no, 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 no. Because we're taught, like, oh, if you turn everything down, like, that's not true. If you turn everything down, like, the universe is getting clear on what you want and clear on how to support you. Yeah.
Do you want to talk, or one of the questions I wanted to bring up was, if this changes over time, if what resonates with you, is it fluid, is it open, or is it pretty consistent? What are your thoughts, Cass?
Are we talking like a person or a book?
Either or, just like law of attraction advice.
I think that sometimes sometimes people's role is to be the beginning. We've talked about this in other areas where, you know, somebody that you met along the way, you can tell, like, they're really the beginning. They're to get people to a certain level, and then it's time to go explore something else. Or some people want to stay at that place, which I don't even like defining it as a beginning, but for some people it's a beginning. For some people that is all they want, and it's okay. And so I think sometimes this could stay the same or it could shift over time. And it's really it really depends on the individual.
I think that's really powerful to acknowledge. I actually struggled a little bit with this and when I had mentors or people I really looked up to, and then I worked with them, and then I was like, wait a second, there's things like that are in the full picture that I didn't quite understand, but it was just a matter of they were exactly what they needed to be for me at that time. And it's not a moving up or beyond or past, it's just moving in a different direction, and really acknowledging and loving how they serve that exact place in someone's life, and the exact way they say that and what they say is so perfect for that kind of person or that area, and instead of what I was doing, pushing against it a little bit, saying you should be better. But so I really I've experienced a lot of fluidity in this concept of if someone changes, or if someone or advice changes as time, different phases you move through. And I don't know if you experience this too, but I often sometimes flow back and forth between different teachers. Like, you guys know I love Abraham Hicks. I also love Eckhart Tolle. But there are times when I resonate more with what one person is saying versus the other. And I just honor that. And I just let I never lose the core of what I believe in or who I am, but I let that guidance kind of guide me at the best time, at different times.
Which makes sense, right? Because you're getting support for the moment you need. And it's all about being present in the moment. It's what you need now and what serves you now.
Yeah. So that, and coming back to our very first, the core concept we're talking about here is what resonates with you, and knowing what that feels like, what that means, and then trusting that in all these different moments.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk, Cass? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, do you want to talk about working with two coaches at once?
Yeah. Or two programs, I think, is one that people a lot. So for me, I will first and foremost say I'm a huge fan of having a coach and doing a program that involves a coach and having someone else's eyes on your work. And because they can see what you can't. And so, but I think what happens a lot of times with people, so if you feel, if you have, maybe you started working with someone last year, but then this year, oh, I want to do this program. I think it's important to look at, are they going to cover the same things or different things? And my first always thing is if I'm looking at a second coach, or anyone's looking at that, is to stop and ask yourself, is this a pattern? Did I go 100% into that work, or did I stop at 80 and now I'm looking for something else? Or are you fully committed to the work is number one. And number two, if you're feeling that desire, ooh, maybe I need to work with this coach or this other coach, is to get clear about why. Am I just feeling stagnant? In which case, the first person to look at often is yourself. If the work starts to feel stagnant, it might be because you're not allowing yourself to have the depth that you used to. And so I would look at that. If you're feeling oh, I want to change it up, I would say, am I committed? Am I looking, am I as open as I was? Am I coming to each assignment or part of the program as a new, fresh person that I am, because I'm not who I used to be? Am I coming with that fresh and that open and these new eyes to learn and listen? Or am I sort of coming with oh, yeah, I got this, and then going through?
Yeah.
And so even if you decide oh, yeah, I'm doing that, but I still want to go into another program, that's important information, because then if you do that again, then you can notice, oh, this is where I need to stay. If it happens a couple times in your life, oh, I need to stay here and come back with a little fresher, a little more open, because it's me, right? And then I would just, do you have anything on those two, or anything you would say?
No, keep going.
And then, once I have evaluated that, I would say, why am I being called somewhere else? And if there's a very clear answer, there's something that you specifically want, or you feel you need to help your journey, then honor that. But I would always check into, am I having a pattern of not staying or not going deep enough? Because no coach, if you don't stay and you don't do the depth, no coach, no program can fix that. That is all about you staying and you being willing to go deeper.
Yeah, I love it. I love the concept of going deeper.
Me too.
And I really love, I think one of the most important questions to keep asking too is like, why? So Cass is saying, is this a pattern? And just another way of saying it, or maybe slightly different, is, why do I want this? Why do I think I need something different or something supplementary? Because that's going to give you information about where you're coming from. And just like we were saying earlier, it's going to set your brain up to help you get what you want out of the experience. I have to share, last year I hired a coach, and it was very inspired and very excited. I was very excited about it. And I was there for 3 months and I was like, no, this isn't, like, I'm not resonating with this anymore. This is not the type of work I want to do. And so it was an easy, like, okay, I'm out. And there was all those questions of like, am I not showing up? Am I just trying to get the answer from this person or whatever? But being able to, that experience was important for me for so many reasons, so that when I wanted to go hire another coach, I'm like, is this a pattern? and it's a great question. And for me, it wasn't, and there was different reasons, but it brings a great amount of self-awareness to the decisions you're making, so you get to keep living purposefully. That's what this is all about, right? You get to keep filling your life with things that you are connected to, things that you resonate with, things that fill your soul, not just empty books.
Yes. Fill your soul. I just want to highlight that. Fill your soul. Like, go to the thing that feels like it's going to fill your soul up. Have a great week.
Hey, it's Ginny here. Have you ever questioned, when is that thing you want coming? Like, how close am I really to manifesting it? You know your alignment is the key to manifesting what you want, but how can you measure this alignment? Well, I have something for you. I created a simple 2-minute quiz. Pop over to my website, ginnygane.com, and take the alignment quiz so you can find out how much time you're spending in alignment and how close you are to getting what you really want. That's ginnygane.com. Have fun with it.
Go be awesome.
Thank you for joining us on the Manifest It Now show, where you learn how to leverage the law of attraction to manifest your dreams. Now that you're inspired, share the love and review us on iTunes. While you're there, remember to subscribe.